poetry, radio, verse. It's all about the D. Desire, discipline, dedication. I know what you were thinking, savages, but that ain't it. Let's go.
Hi, this is Pamela Walsh. Because I don't think in words.
Hi, this is Micki Colgan. To reimagine it, that's the art.
Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I am James Hamilton, and this is Versed, Season 1, Episode 2. It's actually the first time I get to say that I've actually done this before. We are here to shine a spotlight on Midwest poets and artists, and we do that weekly from the WBOM studios located in the basement of the Mendelssohn Center for the Performing Arts in downtown Rockford, Illinois. In the studio with me today, I've got the producer, Paul Savvy Magoo Goddard. Hey. I should have said producer and certified cultural reference, so shouldn't I? Right? You know how that goes. We got Twan Suggs with a camera in his hand, engineering all kinds of creative stuff over there. How you doing?
How you doing?
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Beautiful. Guest today, we've got Cherry Valley, right?
That's right.
Cherry Valley artist, poet, and musician.
That's me.
Micki Colgan. And we have from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, Pamela Walsh, who is also an artist, poet, and musician. Ladies, how are we today?
Awesome. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing awesome today.
I'm awesome. So before I get into anything, I just want to tell you, on Versed, we bring in 2 artists for every episode, and I curate those myself. So something for you to think about while we're doing the show that we'll revisit back at the end is there's a common thread between the 2 of you that inspired me to pair you up together. And at the end of the show, I'm going to ask you what you think that is, and we'll see if you guys
Cosmic
can figure
matchmaking.
it out. So it's a little peek into the James Hamilton brain. It's a scary place.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh.
so there'll be a little bit of that. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. I'm going to start with Micki. Tell us a little bit about what you do, and we'll go forward from there.
Yeah, well, my name is Micki Colgan, and I come from Kansas. I was a hairdresser for 24 years, and I am disabled and pivoting more into poetry and music, and I am in a band called Gnosis Music Project with my partner, playing music and writing poetry and expressing ourselves with art, and that's been the true medicine. And so I thank you for bringing me on the show today.
Most definitely. Pam?
Thanks for bringing me on the show. I too am doing this because it's very healing for me. I often used to wonder why I went through all the crap that I went through, and it wasn't until I started writing that it gave me a purpose to look back at it and actually start to heal from it. So,
Right.
but I do spoken word art, poetry. I am starting to write a book, like a novel, and awesome. I also do visual arts and some music to back up the poetry.
Truth told, I mean, I do know both of you, for this isn't the first time that we met, and I happen to know that Pam rides a motorcycle, right?
That's so cool.
And has a dog that she actually rides on the motorcycle with.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the dog's name? I always forget.
His name is Marco.
So, on Verse, we talk about poetry. I consider poetry to be art.
Heck
I
yeah.
consider it to also be cathartic. But I want to talk about our process because I think that, every artist that I meet does things a little bit different. And what intrigued me today was you guys do so much. I first met Micki, and Micki was a painter. And I was like, oh, and then somebody said she writes poetry. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What? And then all of a sudden I hear a song. So we'll start with you if you want to talk about process. And specifically, is there a difference in the process that you use for writing poetry or music or painting or anything like that?
So for me, it's anything. If I find a piece of trash that I think I can make art out of, I will do that. If I have something living in my mind and it's bothering me, I start writing it down and I doodle Like I make art out of everything. So that would be my process, is whatever I can. I like to write and I like to create things. And if my hands are busy, then my mind is a little bit easier to handle. So
do you find that the so you know you both already mentioned that art is cathartic for you, which it is for me as well. Depending on your mood or what you're processing, does it vary what type of art form you gravitate towards?
Yes.
Or if you're saying, hey, I woke up and I was happy today, so I'm going to paint, or I was sad today, so I'm
I make art when I'm pissed off, normally. When I'm pissed off is when I make my best poetry, I think, and I haven't shared it with anybody. Pantry peaches. Standing in a line, everyone's stomach is voicing their opinion. Making eye contact with fellow souls, their hearts silently weeping behind a disguise of a void of bewilderment. Restless for love, no one wanted to be here. Begging, dehumanized, hungry for a world that's birthright wasn't afforded. You will be happy with your inedible foodstuff. Expiration expired, your death wish granted. Queue up, fall in line, no ID, no food, no pantry peaches. When I'm happy, I get up and I paint pretty things, but I would say definitely I have to be more moody for things to work themselves out of me, if that makes sense.
the edge.
The edge, yeah.
What do you think, Pam? How do you roll?
Well, writing is usually towards writing out nightmares that won't leave me alone after I wake up, or anything where I'm angry, pissed off, I feel like there's injustices, that sort of thing. That comes out most clearly in my writing. Painting is everything else. I mean, sometimes there's anger there too, but for the most part, it is everything else that I feel comes out in my doodles and my paintings and drawings and all the other stuff that I do. And some things I do just to make pretty things because I like pretty things.
So it's Pamela Walsh Arts on Facebook.com, right? Is your new page? I also know you do like epoxy resin stuff. Mm-hmm. Is that more like a hobby for fun, or does that play into the catharsis as well?
It does. The aim there is a little bit more at making things pay for themselves a little bit. But there is an artistic edge to it that I combine my epoxy with some of my paintings. I use epoxy to make containers for other things, and I try to be different than anybody else who's doing epoxy. So I have some of these jars that I make that I actually put tea lights in them so that they light up,
Definitely. I mean, I think I speak for men everywhere when I say it's refreshing to hear two ladies say that they process anger through art.
Oh, yeah.
I speak for a lot of men when I say there are enough stabby women out there in the world.
Right?
I have met my fair share
For real.
of them.
Now, why did you have to bring up the stabby? No, kidding.
Because I have scars, Pam. Aww. Because I have scars.
Oh, man.
At least I did not cause yours.
No, you didn't.
We channel our anger properly.
Yeah.
See,
Now. Had to be the villain. Yes, he will tell you I am the villain. I have no defense against it because through his eyes, I am. But what he doesn't tell you is how that story started. The one where I am the bad guy and nothing more. But there is more. So much more. We loved once. We were happy once. And there is no way to get to the end without starting there, because if it hadn't started there, it wouldn't be a story. Just a note to self and forgotten long before I became the villain in his story. This is a tale of how love turned sour. He saw no evil deeds in himself, lusting after another he never touched, leaving my heart in the dust, using my body to pretend I was her, finding fault in my every waking moment, anywhere but the bedroom. Because there, in the dark, I was this other woman to him. In time, this became an obsession, one I could not deny him or else. And when I said no, when I cried as he touched, I felt filthy and shameful and afraid. My behavior changed. Started to wake up at 3 a.m. just to shower, or didn't shower to avoid his touch. I tried to hold my tongue to keep the peace, but I could not remain silent. I spoke my truth and severed my heart, but my words fell on deaf ears, so when I left, he convinced himself I just needed space. He stalked me, intruded into my new life until I did indeed become the villain, refused to care when he threatened to end himself if I did not acquiesce to his demands. And yes, I even told him to follow through, to save myself from his heart that could never be true. I could see his pattern for what it was. Have one to hold and another to obsess over. And neither one carried love. So think what you want. Say whatever your heart desires. He is no longer my concern. And since you have chosen sides, neither are you. Monsters don't scare me. Even if you didn't believe it then in that first ugly, dark conversation, you know it now. Yet still you could not be honest about the monster you were. So I have to wonder, have you ever truly been honest with yourself about what you were, the things you did, the harm you caused? I have given you every cue and every clue to show you could trust me. Express your darkest truths about everything, because monsters don't scare me. Instead, you chose to hide behind a lie that made you easier to digest, even for yourself. But it left a bitter taste. And that lie became your mask, and you have been rotting under that mask ever since. I could see the conflict within you, and it didn't make sense to me until the unraveling began. When a woman like me unravels, things hidden seek the light. Truth oozes from the woodwork and presents itself for inspection. And now I know things that you did not utter, knowledge I should not have without your divulgence. I could feel the lie between us. Could hear it echo in all the praise you gave me, all the accolades that you spouted to the masses. The echo was hollow because of the space between the mask and the rotting flesh beneath. So I say to you now, face the monster you were. Look it in the eye, acknowledge it was part of you and is part of you still. But until you can acknowledge and accept that it was you and confess its sins into light, you will wonder if those chains will hold. You will wonder if the prison that you put it in will stay a prison, or if the unlocking will resound in your mind like the unraveling you created and burst through into your reality and destroy all you have built. And when you face it, when you really do the work you have skidded past, its desire to be handed the reins of control will be at an end. When it is not caged and chained, but tamed within you, your fear of that monster is why you cling so loudly to the morals you claim and violate those same morals in secret. That is why you cling so loudly to the lies that you have told the world, because you cannot face the lies that you have told yourself in secret. I cannot live that lie with you. I cannot stand the stench of the rot under your mask. And for someone who claims to have thrown the mask away, it is attached more tightly than I have seen in most. And I cannot peel it away for you. That is something only you can do, and it is going to hurt, but not nearly as much as you have hurt me by denying the monster that rots behind the mask.
What happens when you get stuck? We all get stuck.
Yeah.
I know this past week I've had conversations. When I say conversations, I totally mean social media because I'm a loner, introvert person that stays away from people.
Understood.
Me too.
You know, for me and the people that I mentor and coach, when we talk about artist block or writer's block or painter's block or something like that, for a writer, I always say if you're stuck, read. And if you can't read, listen to music, do anything you can do that inspires you or unlocks that creativity, makes you see the forest through the trees. Any techniques you guys can share that you do when you're blocked? Why don't we start with Pam this time?
I break things.
Right on.
Wonderful.
But
Hardcore.
I do it with a purpose to create something else out of it. There is some catharsis in the physical action of actually breaking something. Mm-hmm. If I'm more towards depressed than angry, I'll read or I'll listen to music. Or I'll talk to people online because I don't like to do so face-to-face that often. So
It's funny, more and more artists that I meet, you know, doing this, I think more of us are like that. It's just like, I think if we all had our way, we would just have our own little room somewhere and we just, you know, go to an open mic or something like that. I was going to add too, when you said you break stuff when you get like that, I did see producer Paul Savvy Magoo flinch a little bit over there. A little bit worried. I don't think she's going to throw anything at you. And there's nothing here to break.
No.
Nothing to break over
Be
here.
all right.
I don't break things that should not be broken. I break things that are eventually going to go in the trash anyway.
She's not breaking.
No.
Amen to that.
Or hearts. Today.
Today.
Right now.
Right now.
So for me, you know, like with writer's block, poetry for me has always been just something that I just did, like taking notes. My mind, I just start writing. I get blocked when I paint. So a blank canvas is full of possibilities and potential, just like a piece of paper, right? And so I have to make a mess to get started. Like I have to like kind of create a little bit of a mess for me to paint around. I'm not classically trained to paint, and I mix media. Everything's mixed media. So like I mix it all. I was able to take a class in oil painting in college, but I didn't get to take the whole class. So I've literally just adapted my own methods for painting. Any type of art, like really is just, will it work or not? Like I'm MacGyver. When it comes to anything like that, I'm like, oh, I need a trash can and that box looks big enough and I have epoxy that I'm going to seal it and, you know, glue stuff. I'm that girl, crafty.
Opportunistic.
Yeah, like I see potential in everything.
I like that. I like that MacGyver. I think that should be a category of art. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I was thinking more like Leonardo da Vinci.
Shampoo. Lather that shampoo all over, washing those energies down that fucking drain. Don't worry about the buildup, those tall towers, overgrown brambles. Scrub those walls. Eventually they'll melt, tumbling down the fucking drain. Shampoo's got your back. Intimate suds caress, tingle warm in between all those dirty cracks. Your hair. Head got you all up in your emotions, dirty thoughts. Sink deep into that ritual. Cleanse, stimulate, integrate, regulate, and transmutate. Bounce those negative energies, frequencies, down the fucking drain. Shampoo tantalizes, tickles within. Breathe deep, stimulate. Strip and clarify, deep within your soul. True intentions, expel your negativity like a fuck that you don't give, down the fucking drain. And then seal it up with a kiss and a little cream rinse. I love to like tinker and find stuff and create something out of something that someone was going to throw away, because that's the beautiful part, you know, to reimagine it. That's the art.
Interesting. When you're stuck like that, what would you consider to be your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge, I would say definitely my finances hold me back. So I can't go and buy all the stuff I want to buy to make whatever crazy thing I have in my head. But like when it comes to anything like Other than that, no, I find ways to make art out of everything.
I know just in the conversations that we had. So I had Micki and Pamela in the studio here. They were reading some poetry. What I noticed about both of you are you have the poet's eye. You see stuff out there that other people do not. And I do get, Pam, with yours, the whole dreams that you can't wake up from. I'm a little, you may have scarred me a little bit, but it's inside. For sure. And just seeing stuff in every day. So it gave me a unique look into your life.
Haunted. They say a child haunts this house, but she doesn't roam or make noise. She was shut in a box, hidden in the attic, muzzled by fear year after year. She would have screamed in a pillow if she had been given one. Instead, she wailed in her head while teardrops resounded louder than the whispers she dared breathe. Silence and servitude required, just a child with the world on her back, every sound a reason for anger unleashed. Belt and fist leave welts and bruises, another for each sound uttered. She screams in silence, muzzled by fear. That tiny box in the attic, safer than with him, the sound of his footsteps, an indelible warning. She tries to make herself smaller, tries to hide with nowhere to go. She trembles as the keys rattle and hit the lock. He drags her down the stairs, barely notices her stumbles. She tries to keep up, but wants to give up. She dreams of days his footsteps don't come for her, of days the keys don't rattle or open the lock, dreams every night of escaping her plight, to be taken by death to darkness, never to wake again to his demands. Just the whispers of the wind, skittering of cockroaches, and buzzing of flies in the windows. It is their ignorance of her existence, the only thing that counts as kindness. His rough tug on her bruised arm and barked orders for the day rips her from the dream her mind doesn't want to leave. But his list lines up in her mind. She dares not miss a task. He downs another flask, passes out in the chair, and she lets out a held breath, completes the list of duties, wakes him to eat, and he grumbles as she waits. Takes his plate and cleans the mess. He drags her up to the attic again, shoves her in and locks her cage, stumbles and skids his way down the attic stairs. Addiction calls his name, stakes its claim upon his life. Darkness slowly closes in. Death's hand stops his heart and mind, a kinder death than he deserves. She resides in her cage, unaware that her dreams will soon come true. His feet never again climb the stairs. Key will never again hit the lock. She will never again be struck with belt and fist. She wakes to daylight and silence, just whispers of the wind, skittering of cockroaches, buzzing of flies against the window. Too far gone to wonder why. Just screams in silence, muzzled by fear as days pass slowly by, until the silence swallows her whole.
People who have been around me for any length of time or whatever know I'm a huge proponent of Rick Rubin's book,
Yes.
The Creative Act, A Way of Being. There is a quote, and I just thought of it because
I walked in on you listening to that book on CD the other day.
You did.
Audiobook.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It is.
It
The first page of that, there's a quote from Robert Henry with an I, not a Y. I don't know who that is. But he said, the object is not to strive to make great art. The object is to live a creative life. And when you said that, I was like, that's it, creative life, man. If we're living a creative life, all we got to do is wait and, or in Pam's case, go to sleep. And
Yes.
right.
Yeah, if I wrote all of my nightmares, I would surpass Stephen King in the book writing thing, but yeah, I'm not doing that. What hides behind secrets? Truths alight upon lies, feather, blown and tossed, captured, tossed and blown, feather, lies, alight upon truths. Language has meaning, but it gets twisted, intentions hidden in secrets handed out as simple truths. But the depth of deception beneath an abyss that leads to chaos slips through fractures and healing, fills and swells and weeps. Fragments of trust fall into the deep. Doubt dances with intuition, bloody footprints spinning wildly, plague of chaos on broken ground. Spoken of in pleasant prose, calls the blood petals of a rose. So the shallows suppose it's love. Intentions hidden in secrets, full of deceptions disguised, but even the blind could see. If only they looked beyond broken ground's hollow call. With each step's bleeding, in the name of healing, infested and seething with words twisted, meaning, hiding death behind secrets. Death of trust. Death of peace. Death of love on fragile precipice, about to dive into the deep where chaos thrives. And secrets hide the vital truth. Rose petals are bloody footprints, dancing plagues compulsory grip that open hairline fractures in healing. Into the gaping abyss truth falls betwixt, seething with rotting infection that consumes heart and soul, behind a mask of twisted words, handed out as simple truth. Truths alight upon lies, feather, blown and tossed, captured, tossed and blown, feather, lies, alight upon truth.
Do you do jewelry?
I do. I have. Not often, but I have done jewelry. It's mostly stone and metal. When I do it, it's heavier pieces.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, so I make the agate necklaces is what I make. And that's just more like something I do in between watching TV or listening to a podcast or something. It's something to keep my hands busy. Mm-hmm. So I do that. I don't do any other jewelry making, just what I do with my agates.
How about we say, describe a typical day? So we're talking about living a creative life.
Yeah.
We're talking about setting yourself up so that it's inevitable for the final product of the art that we make to happen. Describe a typical day. How does that come to pass?
I'll go first. Coming from the cosmetology side of things, so it was all about the lifestyle. I'm big on rituals. When I wake up in the morning, I do coffee, but I'm really big on my morning rituals, and I start my day off that way. And when it comes to making art, like I cook dinner every day. Like I just try to I'm kind of in that frequency, if that makes any sense. Like I just kind of go about my day trying to make things better. And it's all very ritualistic. From the moment I wake up in the morning, I have a lot of mindfulness because I struggle with depression. And so I have flashbacks. I have to be very mindful of how I start my mornings because it can really go downhill. So with that in mind, I just try to be real positive when I wake up in the morning with affirmations and such. And I try to make art out of everything I do to make myself happy.
Fashion, is that part of it?
Yeah, like everything from putting on lipstick, like putting on my lipstick is like putting on my war paint. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like, okay, I'm ready to face the day, face the world.
It's interesting that you mentioned cooking. Another one of my, the people that I kind of look at for inspiration was Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
And he was one that said cooking is art.
Love language.
Paul Savvy Magoo, producer over here, is going to roll his eyes when I say Rick Rubin mentions it a couple of times in his book. That cooking takes an artistic. So I just kind of found it interesting because that was something that I did a lot when I guess in a previous life when I was very domesticated, more domesticated than I am now. How about you, Pam? What's a typical day look like?
Well, first I want to say I always felt like cooking was art
Yeah.
and baking was science.
Yes. Yes.
See, when it comes to baking, what else we'll say about baking, and the reason I don't do it, I like to eat pie and cheesecake and stuff like as much as the next guy, but the problem with baking for me is too many rules.
Right.
It's alchemy, I tell you.
It is.
If you don't put the right amount of A plus B and C in it, your cake don't rise.
At the right order. It has to be in the right order too.
Right.
At the right time, with the right temperature. So
At the right
See,
altitude.
you already lost me right there. I don't even know. My cake is flat and in the wrong flavor already. So I did not mean to interrupt you, but I had to throw that in there because this is entertainment. We're on WBOM full
That's
service
right.
radio here, and we're trying to keep people's interest. So I have to act like an ass sometimes.
You're just the guy for it.
I thank you. That's why we have producers, ladies and gentlemen.
You are quite good at it.
All right. So I apologize again. Please, the floor is yours.
My day is very little routine, actually. There are some routines that I do go through, but the timing of them isn't when I wake up or whatever. It's just things that I have to do through the course of the day in order to feel like I've had a good day.
Yeah.
Coffee is one of them. Coffee is essential. Coffee is life.
Yes.
But another one is I listen to music and I do my best to write something every day, even if it's only a sentence. Especially now that I've started that book. That's going to be interesting. Anyway, I also try to do some art every day, whether it's a piece for myself or a commission that I have to get done. I have struggled with time management because I struggle with understanding the passage of time. I could sit and do nothing for hours and think it was only a few minutes, or I could work on a painting for hours and think it was only a few minutes.
Right.
Right.
So I get lost in time. Time isn't real for me unless I have alarms on my phone often and loud and obnoxious.
Exactly.
When you're mindful of what's going on, and there again, I got to do it. I got to channel Rick Rubin's book again, and say, when we are mindful of a monotonous task, and he does mention driving, mind you, because people who know me know I like to write when I drive. I dictate. It does not make me a better driver. If you've been behind me, you know that I suck. When you can do a monotonous task, like let's say cooking, or let's say repetitive art, winding wire, like you talked about, that in your mind goes, time does go. Cutting grass for me was always, I'd get on the lawn tractor at home and I would cut the grass, and the next thing I knew it was like Sunday.
I love cutting grass. Like for real, it's meditative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Gardening, all that. So meditative and so good for you,
Oh, before I had my dog and I had a fenced-in yard that really doesn't pay to try and put patterns in, I would put patterns in different
Right
every
on.
time. Like
Some
I
cropsicles.
did Amun-Ra the one time, and I did waves and the sunbeams, and I mean that's what I used to
In
do.
your lawn?
but in the lawn.
That's
yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
And the best, I tried to do the same thing. You want to know something that drove me crazy?
What?
Listen to this. So I got a guy who came by one time, and it was an alcoholic. I'm not going to lie to you. The guy was alcoholic. He would show up drunk. I liked cutting my grass, so when he came by and he offered to do it, I was always, I didn't want him to. So the one time I let him do it, he gets on the lawn tractor, and I can find a picture of this. I have it somewhere. I don't know where. But he goes on a tractor, and the dude falls asleep while he's on and
While
off,
he's on
while he's cutting the grass. So I know you have kids. You know kids? Or
2 kids.
Two kids, all right. Or maybe the dog draws. I don't know. But when kids take a piece of paper and scribble just randomly? That's what he did to my lawn. And I came outside, and it's one of those things where you want to be angry, but you can't.
But you can't.
You can't because of the beauty in it.
Right.
And it was almost like, the poetic eye.
It was a little endearing.
It was crazy. I was just like, this is wonderful. My wife at the time, she was like, oh my God, I'm going to
She's
kill
power
him.
pissed.
Yeah, and she was very stabby. I'm not going to lie. She was power pissed is an understatement. Yeah. And she had great aim.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
my.
Yeah.
Are you still bleeding?
No, all bleeding stops eventually.
Gotcha.
I'm aware of that.
One way or another.
Acutely aware of that. Most definitely. People would always ask me, they would say, James, what are your influences? And what they're doing is they're fishing for me to talk about Kerouac or one of the Saul Williams or one of the poets that influences me. And what I come out with is I say Miles Davis, trumpet player.
Music, yeah.
I say Anthony Bourdain, travel show host, chef.
It's all
celebrity.
translatable.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it is. I take a little bit from each one of them. So my question for you guys are, and I know this is kind of loaded because you guys do so much. You got the multimedia thing, the painting thing, and all of that. Where else do you get inspiration from, like, say, an adjacent art form that maybe you guys don't do?
Right,
I know it's like, maybe what, paper mache modeling or puppet making, maybe? I don't know. Don't even tell me you make puppets.
Yeah, don't let's not go there because we both have, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. That's a great question, though, because we're like jack of art trades, I guess is what you call
or
it.
Jill. I would be a Jill.
Jill of all
I mean,
trades.
there's
Of
a lot
art
of
stuff.
things I've only done once, but I've done a lot of
try
different
it.
things.
You got me thinking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I've only done once too, and
Right. No, there we go. The dirty
it's
thoughts.
a family show, ladies and gentlemen. Family show on WBOM Full Service Radio. Anything out there that's ancillary to the type of work that you normally do that you just go to and inspires you.
Nature inspires me a lot.
Good one.
And it's not necessarily what you would think. It's not necessarily like the pretty flowers and the pretty sunsets, which I take tons of pictures of those. It is the play of color and shadow that I see. The shine of a light on the water and the color that it reflects back against, the water looking dark besides. And I mean, it is the abstract in nature that inspires me.
So would you say the abstract as you see it, or are you like referring to something like a chaos theory type of thing, or the randomness, or just the acute picture that Pam Walsh sees with her eye?
I will tell you that there are blinds in the windows, and there are shadows cast by the vines outside on the blinds through the dust in the window. And what I'm seeing when I look at that is the shapes that the blinds create, the shapes that the shadows create, the interference that the dust on the windows creates, and how it all plays together and how the colors come through all of it. I am completely fascinated with how light and shadow work together, and how light without shadow is boring and shadow without light is boring. You have to have both, and you have to have them both playing against each other in interesting ways in order for it to be something that'll even catch my attention. Because I don't think in words. My thought process is not words. My thought process is colors and shapes and patterns and movement, and that all translates into words eventually.
Let's talk about the influences for Micki Colgan.
Yeah. So like from being a hairdresser and a hair colorist all my life, all I did was pay attention to the details of light and darkness, like you're talking about. Everybody in the world sees color differently, a statistic. So it's interesting trying to bring what we see to life so other people can see color the way we see it. So I would say like nature definitely for me, but my kids like blow my mind. Like they blow my mind. Micro fashion, all the stuff that they bring home, like just the things that they're into.
So micro fashion, that caught me right there. I do
Yeah.
not know. Does that mean like fashion only smaller?
Like
or what
little
are we talking
fashionista babies, man. Like they're crazy.
about?
Like
Your children are stealing babies.
no, they're not. No, they're not doing that. Thank goodness. But like the way with children, I'm like the person in the neighborhood that all the kids like flock to. So when I go check the mail, like I'll have like 20 kids next to me by the time I get my mail. And so no, they're just all unique, beautiful babies, and they just inspire me so much. They knock on my door just to make sure I'm feeling good some days, So the kids really inspire me, and they inspire me in nature. I'm all about being outside, and I'm a lot like you are in that sense. Like I have to ground myself because I get depression really bad. So getting outside and talking to other people really helps me.
Do either of you guys write or do any art? Like, so eco poetry is really a thing right now.
I've never done that.
I have done an I Am Water piece. I don't do nature pieces very often, but I want to.
I paint water.
Because nature being a influence on your art, and then it doesn't show up in the final product. Isn't that crazy? The way the synapse in our brains or whatever work.
It only comes out on my paintings. I paint.
And your photography.
Yeah, in my
I've seen your
photography, but not my words. Like my poetry is more like I'm talking about like philosophical things, like and crazy stuff. Yeah. Oh, I'm so fascinated with cosmic solar weather. Like that's definitely a source of my inspiration.
Before we get to the common thread between all the guests today, at the outset of the show, I mentioned that there's a reason why I curated you two together. And that all got mixed up in the meat grinder that is my brain. Before we get to that, what I like to do is I like to do something called the last word. So you guys have an opportunity here to talk to the people. You're on the radio, streaming on WBOM Full Service Radio. Anything that you don't want to leave on the table, let's get it out now. So it's kind of, we call it the last word.
Yeah.
And we can roll with that before we go into the common thread.
Cool. Well, you can find my information at gnosismusicproject.com. That is where you can find all of our music, all my paintings as well. And that's where we kind of like have everything in a centralized hub. And you can also send messages that way too, to contact us for bookings.
So when you say us, you're talking about your partner.
Me and my partner.
Partner's name?
My partner's name is Bradley Engel.
And he does music for...
Yeah, so we have our own studio in-house called Gnosis Records, and we are self-published. We just released our first album, and then he goes by Paradox Frequency Manipulator, and he has been a conscious rapper for several years now. 5D love. Your breath, sweet little pattern, percussive, your heart, beats to a familiar rhythm that pulsates deep within my very being. Your love swallows all my fear, my doubt that you, my love, have afforded me, a luxury of authenticity. Your energy electrifies my very essence, a catalyst, a true spark that keeps me grounded, yet thirsty for more. Your words captivate me, entwined, entertained, enveloped, lingering on your last syllable, a truth that shivers resonating like a bell. Your life is so much more than a journey. Twisted memories enchanted made you the man I love. Beautiful, resilient, unscathed, integrity coming from every pore. You've walked alone, but not any longer. My heart is your heart, which beats with the gnosis, knowing that you love me, all of me.
Music that carries us in and out of every episode of Verse. Is that a Gnosis music project?
Yeah. So believe it or not, I've been hesitant to learn the DOS system for music. So that was my second beat that I wrote. Traditionally, classically trained as a saxophone player and guitar. So that was my second beat that I wrote. Yeah. And then of course he helps me with everything, but like he took a shower and I wrote that. And then that's how it happens. Like the art just kind of comes out when it does, and you have to you just pick it out of the ether. You just pick it out of the ether. Like, I just got a thought. Well, if I don't do nothing with it right now, then Twan's going to get it, or Paul's going to get it, or you're going to get it. You know what I mean? Because like that's how it works. It's like the fungus system. Like we're all cosmically connected. And
it's like the ether picks us.
Yeah, we're just channeling it.
I remember the first time I did a radio interview, and I was all excited, and I sat down, and they got me set up, and we were live, and the DJ was a friend of mine, and he asked me, he said, James, tell me about your process.
Yeah.
And I said, well, see, Wayne, I said, the universe sends stuff down.
Yeah.
And I get it, and I write it down. And he's like, that's wonderful, James. What are we going to do for the next 20 minutes? And I was like, you're right. 'Cause I just didn't know how to talk about it. But that is probably the most accurate and authentic way that I could describe that. So last word for Pamela Walsh.
I am Pamela Walsh Arts on most social medias. If you look me up there, you'll find me mostly on TikTok and Facebook. Pamela Walsh Arts at yahoo.com if you want to get a hold of me specifically. Other than that,
You want to say hi to your mom? You should.
Hi, Mom.
You probably should.
I should. My mom just recently went on hospice, and no, there's no need for sympathy or anything for that. She did it willingly on her own cognizant ability, and she's good with it. So she's 94. She is starting to decline a little more than she's comfortable with. So hi, Mom. I love you, and I will always love you no matter what.
I love that.
And thank you for everything you have always done for all 7 of us kids.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, she is a sweetheart. I was fortunate enough to meet her at an open mic that we did. I think I featured at. I may have featured at. May have been the first time I did the scroll poem, to be honest.
Yes.
With you.
No, it was the second time because you did it at
Yes, you're
Urban.
right. Down with you guys, down in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
got it.
Yeah. So is that last word? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about the common thread.
I have an idea.
All right. Cool.
I do too.
Okay. Well,
But there's one thing that we are absolute opposite on,
okay.
which I really think is an art form. It's makeup. I don't
Okay.
even own makeup, and you do makeup as part of your ritual every day. And makeup is definitely an art form, and
Yeah.
everybody who does a good job with it, I am just like, wow. But I don't even own it because I don't even bother.
I understand that, though.
My experience with makeup was at the Clown Bar. We did a.
It was fabulous.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
That
did
was
a
a great gig.
Paul Savvy Magoo Goddard, producer, sitting over here, and certified cultural reference. And we did a play in Rockford here at the West Side Showroom. Shout out Epic, right?
Yeah, Epic Jones.
Epic Jones.
Heck yeah.
Where we got to do poetry dressed like clowns, and that was my experience with makeup. Didn't necessarily like it. I found it
Hot.
slippery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Suffocating.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Common thread. That's right.
Well, you know what? Okay, this is what I'm curious about. When's your birthday?
June 28th,
So you would be a Gemini?
Cancer.
Cancer. Okay, so I'm a Sagittarius, and I
Okay.
was having a feeling you were on the opposite side. And it's really cool to see, like, with people, just differences in personalities, but we're so similar with the way we operate. You know what I mean?
We both try so many different ways as an expression of creativity, and that becomes art.
Paul, you want to take a guess at what the common thread is between our guests today?
What is it?
Boy, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the visual art I've seen of each of them. I mean, I have Micki Colgan in my library on the wall.
I think it's just that
So
we
keep in
branch
mind-
out into so many different creative avenues.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that this that all happened inside of here, inside of my head.
Yeah,
So
so, it's got to
that-
be fairly simple.
So it could be a little twisted and definitely simple. Thank you for clarifying
Is
that.
it because we're like brunettes?
Boy, wish I would have thought of that one this morning.
Micki, do you ride a motorcycle?
I don't actually. I have a bicycle.
Dog? Do you have a
I have a
dog?
dog. Yes,
Oh, it could
Yeah,
be.
I'm
me
definitely
too.
a dog person.
Could
Yeah.
it be? Could it be dog? It's not. It's not. It's versatility, ladies.
yeah.
You guys are.
It's because we're dope.
You guys are. Yeah. It's because you're dope. It's because you do so much. It's because you do so much in the arts community, and you make so many different things. How could it not be versatility?
Right. So cool.
Makes sense to me.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Well, they're both so creative. It just comes out of them one way or another.
It's like our operating system.
Yeah. I have a poem for that.
I love that. Anything else you want to add at the end here, producer Paul Savvy Magoo?
No, I've spoken too much. You guys are great.
This was a wonderful experience.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on for Mendelssohn Center for Performing Arts, WBOM Full Service Radio, James Hamilton in verse. Thank you, Micki Colgan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam Walsh. Thank you, Twan Suggs. Thank you, Paul Savvy Magoo Goddard. Thanks the world. What did you call it? The muse or the, I forget. But thank everything. Thank the energy that
Thank the
feeds
ether.
us.
The ether.
The ether, that was it.
That's it.
We are going to get out of here. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for
Thank
listening to WBOM Radio.
Wow.
Hi, Hi, this is Pamela Walsh Arts on First Broadcasting on WBOM Full Service Radio. Here are some of my original poetry. Perpetual Motion Machine. They say it is a myth that no such thing can exist, but it does. Oh, it does. Though bureaucratic instead of mechanical, politicians use it as a money tree. Incarceration, probation, manipulation, re-incarceration. Perpetual motion through manipulation. All inmates the same, regardless of individuality, regardless of convoluted deception and accusation, made to fit narrative and coercive ambition. But what of the falsely accused? Wrong place, wrong time, wrong response, but no crime. Misunderstandings and angry ramblings turned power plays and political relays. What of the reformed and repentant? Legal perpetuation, incarcerate to generate income. While men are more free behind bars than in mental bondage of probation, required by courts to live a lie without a choice, but to participate in mental pollution from others' minds, meant to reform, but only reform, bad to worse, made to pay the same price over and over and over. Insidious walls and bars require brokenness and will exact their price no matter the cost. Enter hope. She is an oleander mistress, fed by a rainfall of bitter tears, her allure irresistible to unbroken pieces. She presents paradox choice. Break here, or here, or here. To pay for hope given at open doors, stolen from a system that uses men as currency, crumpled and stained, contained in their pockets, repeatedly spent and constrained by a bureaucratic machine that uses the accused to feed the perpetual motion. Men in, men out. Men in, men out. Thrown back in and broken more. Taped together, charged for the cost to pick up the pieces and assemble, but never repaired or prepared for life outside of their control. Unconstitutional rules obscure disclosure and success, penalized for lack of motion and lemming mindless shuffle down their halls, full of pitfalls broken minds barely perceive. No reprieve, except when hope mixes her oleander elixir and shows the light they long to see. Men believe her rainbow illusions of living a life truly free of prison bars and probationary bondage and endless tether and chaotic control by power addicts' greed. They need to feed the bureaucratic perpetual motion machine that uses men as currency, crumpled in their fists, repentance rejected as lies to make the people despise men with a record held in discord and forced disarray. No such thing as social debt paid in full, put on display for politicians to say, these men cannot reform. We will keep them from you, but the service will cost you taxes. Behind closed doors, self-congratulations are in order. They feed the greed with false need and fill their pockets with the men they use as currency, crumpled, stained, torn.
Hi, this is Micki Colgan on Verse Broadcasting on WBOM Full Service Radio. Trainwreck. Supporting the train. Friendship as an adult is perilous. Tiptoeing on eggshells. Realizing the difference, not in age but soul. My spirit was restless, weary, trapped, sick. Learned the hard way. Now watching that desire in the eyes of the woman I once knew. A version of myself, living her life, part of my soul family. A lesson on my reaction. Would I react with fire, emitting such molten heat, truth that sears, like the solstice dragon that I am? Icy by birth, lethal with tongue. Her dragon is not yet hatched. Birth is due at any time. Time to remember. Remember who she is. The ego has yet to die, and only you can pick up those broken shards of your soul, the affirming I am. She only thinks she knows, still trapped in the 3D matrix of lies. Her gnosis has been ignored as she medicates, perpetuates, reckless abandon. Her emotions, those voices bottled up fizzy, yet neurotically reacts, reckless with her energy. She knows not how strong she is, bleeding out, infectious to those whose will is still weak, selfish in her taking, numbing out those loud inner voices, old identities that need to die. The midlife crisis was about realization, an awakening, realizing the temple wasn't a metaphor, it was your avatar, symbolic messages, red flags, cycles, repeating mania. Stop. I love my friend. She doesn't remember yet. I am here, a mirror, an example, a survivor. Your dragon is about to hatch. You just weren't aware. The download, a sacred rite, a dark night of the soul. It's not long yet, I fear. I just re-emerged, newly reimagined from fire. I see your turn is coming. Warning signs glaring.
This is Paul Savvy Magoo Goddard with Versed on WBOM Full Service Radio. This is my original narrative verse, Lightning Strikes at the Festival. 2 days of singer-songwriters and the like. Lush voices, deft guitars. Lush guitars, deft voices. Carefully curated, a beautifully orchestrated picnic. Dipping country, straying folk, feeling jazz. Founded on rock that feels like the ancient ancestor. 2 days of gorgeous weather. Temperate, warm days tempering into cool evenings. Then, crashing the stage, gale force flashes and thunder, the pumping drums, thrashing guitars, wailing saxes, pumping bass, adrenaline, a fresh, new rock and roll. For this boomer, bleachers arrived, the welcome storm. Rain spattering on pavement, on stone, on blacktop. Running, puddling, splashing. Walking, I work my way through neighborhoods. Avoid the rivulets downstream from garbage piles. Avoid the individuals alone. Awaiting what? Don't want to know. Need not to know, knowing the cost is too high one way or another. Jarred by clustered, boisterous, abusing tourists having their own fun. The city is dark, wet, cold, vacant.
Neutrally colored, pre-dreaming, evening streaming vignettes of conversations over coffee and cigarettes. Artistic biscotti, Pop and Wait, Jack and Meg, conversations enlighten everyday tension. Another Jim, creative, real life, black and white. I am oblivious, indifferent, I am faded with thought. Color is a fickle bitch. A fire hydrant adorned with the flag looks like a person. Countertop complexion drained, reversed, clocks run back to front. Multi-pigment barn chickens in a yard. Bright bib overalls in sundress season. Streetwear, kaleidoscope, tattoos, tinted flavors run into another one. Chewed, waxed, melted to indiscretion, blurred delineation, sweaty and wet, watered vapor, mist, art. Wherever you go, there you are. New business, stained, colorway, same old business, same as it ever was, same as it ever was, same play played out. Boat parade, transformer on a pole, no power, concrete over sand and sea, ammonia charade, tailpipe bleach smoke, peroxide transistor, psychedelic relic. Oh, I cannot remember shit. If I don't say it out loud, I will forget what I was talking about. People are disgusting. Fascists wear masks, but racists don't. Deviants don't have to fuck in the dark. Bed shims raise my lay so the monsters have more room to hide below when they're done with their day. Body snatcher, soul stripper, emotion ripper, rainy day music, snapshot. Unnatural fizzy colored hydration, loneliness in a steel cup. Depression is timeless, living filtered to black and white.